Hey everybody, it's Dave Schickman. Thank you so much for checking this out. This one's going to be a little bit different, right? This is going to be a look at how I organize music. And of course, how I organize things helps me build sets or builds playlists and things like that, figure out where to go with everything. I've been using Serato for about 15 years, so while I do use Rekordbox Live, I'm going to show you Serato because that's where I'm most organized. I'll show you my color system, and I'll show you my crates and stuff like that. I don't use all the features, right? I'm sure there are people who are like, oh, you can do this and this and this, and like, cool, jump into the comments, give me suggestions. I'm all about that. But I've been using it a long time, and I'm really comfortable with the way I have it set up. So I'm going to show you what I do. A couple of notes to start off. This is not the right way to do it. This is my way to do it, right? Find your own way. Do you? Let me do me, of course, but you're welcome to comment and, let me know if you think I can improve on things. I'm always, like I said, open to that, but there's no right or wrong way. I know a lot of friends who do things similar, but different. And sometimes the color system that I'm going to show you doesn't work for people, or a lot of times people will write comments for tunes so that they can then later search for them. That works. That doesn't work for me, but that's okay. So I'll show you my system and hopefully you kind of pick something up from it, right? I will say that my system works especially well for drum and bass because drum and bass, as I've heard like Fabio and Goldie say, drum and bass is so varied. It's such a rich, diverse genre, right? You got your liquid, your jungle, your funk, your big room, your rollers, your crunchers, your whatever, the hard stuff. There's so much, the halftime. So I think if you sort of stay organized by crates, by time sometimes, and also by crate, like I said, I think it'll help build good sets. Yeah, so let's take it from the top. All right, so I got a couple tips to just sort of start to stay organized. I'm very, very organized, but this has taken me a long time. And, some of you are probably going to be looking at your collection and saying to yourself, shit, this is going to be a big deal to try to go back and do things. And I will just say, honestly, it does take some time to sort of reorganize and do some of the things that I might teach you, but take it day by day, I've lost my Serato, library a few times, and that was my fault, and it was a huge, huge error, right? The music's still there, but I lost my playlists and things like that. I just didn't save right and blah, blah, blah. So, I've had to take the time to go back in and, go through the tunes, sort them out, make sure my cue points are there. So, do 10 a day, do 20 a day. Take it step by step and don't get over, annoyed by it because it can be a tedious process. But okay, let's jump in, right? So this is one of the things I do is, right, I have my main folder for drum and bass. I have other, but I'm mostly drum and bass, so I just kind of keep it kind of clean. When I get tunes, I don't throw tunes right into my folder right away. I don't think anything should live in your Serato until you're ready to acknowledge it, until you're ready to really respect the tune and give it time and listen to it and put your markers and figure out which crate to throw it in. Right? So I wait until I have a couple or until I have time. At least usually it's 10 or 15 or 20 tracks at once. Maybe it's on the weekend or something like that. And then I go in and I add them all at once and I sit and I process everything. For me, that makes a lot more sense than doing one at a time or having just tons of random tunes in there that you haven't really checked out, but one day I'll get to. Keep this clean. This is your system here, so keep it clean. I like to use colors. And I'm going to teach you my color technique. Let's start with two things. If you're a DJ, you're only going to play so many of those tunes, right? You might own different tunes that you love or that you listen to, but you're not going to play them. Maybe they're not the dance floor vibe. Maybe they're an ambient opener from somebody's album, which is awesome, but you're not going to play it. And you don't want to be scrolling and seeing those tunes. It's when you're looking to put together a set or when you're playing on the radio or whatever, right? You want to scroll and only see things that you could end up playing. So here's what I do. Tunes. I make a folder literally called tunes, right? Name it whatever you want. Every tune is something that I would play. And to start with, it gets the color purple, right? Why purple? Well, I like to pick a duller color for me. This is the way my mind works. So some people are going to think this is off. But this is a color, this will represent every tune, but these are mostly older tunes, okay? So tunes get thrown in and they get a purple, all right? That means that some tunes have colors and some tunes do not. The tunes that do not, right, you can always find them if you want, right? They're still there. They're still in your collection, right? New tunes get a brighter color. Okay. So I pick red. All of my new tunes, and this can be new or this can be tunes that you just kind of want to play. So this is what I'll go to a lot. Like this is my go-to, right? So new tunes get a red, and I'll explain why they get a color in a second. Then I have must-play tunes. These are the tunes that are like, oh my gosh, these tunes are outrageous. You know, all these new Logistics tunes from his new album. There's probably 2 more I can throw in here, right? These are the tunes that I think are excellent, or there's one of my tunes in there. Like this is a reminder, Yellow, to play these tunes, right? Play these tunes. I want to play these tunes. So when I'm searching for tunes, I like to get very specific, and I'll sort of look at those different folders, and we can start there. But you can just be searching through your collection of tunes that you want to play, right? So I like to do things by key. I'll talk about that in a second. I think most people do that. But let's say, you know, okay, I'm here and I'm playing this Enei tune, Alligator. It's a really cool tune. Okay, right? So if I'm scrolling and I want to see, well, what can I play? Well, the things that jump out first are the reds, because to me they're brighter. So, you know, I'm scrolling, I'm looking at everything, but I'm saying, well, oh, yep, new flavor D. Cool, new flavor D. Let's play those, right? So to me, I see the red, I jump to it. That helps me organize. But, you know, my boy Matt, new hex pin. Like I see that faster. I've trained my eyes to see that. And then what happens is, you know, oh, I'm scrolling and I'm looking for something, and oh, this is a must play. Well, cool. Like I'm not sure that this tune matches with the Enei tune. I know it doesn't. But if we're moving up and down in key, this will give me an idea of what's new and what's must play right where I'm at anyway. Right? And of course, in key, you know, I'm a melodic DJ, so I play in key, you know, 95% of the time, I'd say. But I know there's like a great Skrillex trick, that a lot of people know about. Or it's not a trick, but like something Skrillex has talked about, and a lot of other DJs, is when you're playing some tunes sometimes or some moments, like you completely ignore the key, you know, switch it up, give them something completely different. Maybe when you're changing the tempo or whatever. So generally, if I'm playing sort of like jump up and crunchy stuff, like I don't pay as much attention to the key. Sometimes it's better without it, frankly. But, you know, I do play, again, a lot of melodic stuff, so I tend to stay in key. So if I'm going from 1, I'll go from 12, or I'll go to 1 or 2. And again, when I'm scrolling, I can see like, cool, there's a new Tej track. Like, let's go, right? So if I'm building a set, I might start here. Right? What are some great tunes, right? What do I really, really, really want to play? Let's look at some of the folders, and then I think I'll go back and maybe look at some of these specific sort of sets I have coming up and like what I've done there, okay? So people organize folders by so many different things. Some people do it by almost like emotion, right? They could say like an angry tune, or like a happy tune, or an ethereal tune. I guess, I don't know if that's an emotion exactly. I think it is. You know, feelings. And that works for some people. For me, I think I'm a little more descriptive ear, but sometimes I do it by feeling. So one of my biggest ones is rollers. I love rollers. I think, as a lot of you know, rollers is not exactly a subgenre. It's just a general sort of term for, you know, tunes that roll. You know, there's no breakdown necessarily, things like that. I mean, you can argue what a roller is, but for me, so if I get a brand new tune, right? This is a tune that I just did with a friend of mine. So let's say I load this tune up. First thing I do is I listen to it, right? If I enjoy it and I feel like this is a tune I want to play, the first thing I'm going to do, right? It's a new tune. Boom. If I love it, of course, I'll make it a yellow, right? But boom, new tune, right? I'll throw it into new tunes. I'll make sure it's in tunes, so it's always there when I'm looking for it, right? And then I listen and I say, okay, what does it sound like? You know, if it's a vocal tune, anything that has vocals, I immediately throw into vocals. One of the things I like to do is play a lot of rolling, crunchy, breaky kind of stuff. And sometimes they're clean and sometimes there's not a lot of things going on. Well, after 2 or 3 or 6 of those, sometimes I'm like, oh, I need a vocal track. I need a vocal track right now, right? So I'll go to vocals and boom. Well, I'm already at 1. Cool, let's change it up. Let's go to 2. And oh my gosh, this brand new, crystal clear. Boom, there we go, right? So throw everything in vocals. A lot of rollers, but I break rollers down, as I've talked about, because rollers are all kinds of drum and bass, right? So I have my go-to rollers. This is like, oh my gosh, and you can see so many yellows here, right? Oh my gosh, these are so amazing. This Vertigo EP by I Am Doomed is like unbelievable. By the way, I am recording this on just about April 1st. I think it's March 31st, 2026. So some of these tracks are going to feel old to some people. yeah, so I got my go-to rollers. This is not organized perfectly, but let's put it by key and we can take a look at that. And it's actually like, it was like that for a reason. I'll go back. I had it by date that I added, and that's another trick, right? Let's say I'm playing a really big set and I want to start with some kind of like go-to roll. I just want to boom, roll it out, go right in. Well, I'll go to go-to rollers and I'll go to added, right? Boom. And this is probably what I did the other day. I opened I closed the night for Alex Perez in New York City. I opened in Philly the night before, which I can look at in a second. But yeah, like this was my opening track. Like, boom, there it is. I don't know that this is how I found it, but like that's the theory for me, right? Let's see what the new tracks are. I know where I want to go, and I know what I want to do. Yeah, like go-to rollers. There's clean rollers and dark rollers and deep rollers. I like to really organize things by sound, right? So my liquid rollers, a lot of these. Okay, so I do that. I throw them into there. Let's look at another couple. Let's look at another couple of these. So jungle, right? Like jungle is jungle. You know what jungle is. But like if you look at year here, some are jungle from 2025 and some are jungle from 1993, right? So, I can split that up if I want into new jungle and old jungle, right? I got my steppers. I love the steppers, right? My 4x4 stuff and my into 3 and 4, which is something that only makes sense to me. But that's another thing. Like, do things that make sense to you. It's okay that they don't make sense to everybody else. The forward tunes, those are those tunes that are like they have that forward momentum. A lot of hi hats, but this is another format. What I like to do a lot is the other day I went into a halftime tune that was small, and then it was at a lull in the set where it was ready to explode. So what I did was I went into forward and I found a real like rolling, funky, amazing forward tune, and I threw it on top of the halftime, and before they knew it, they were into a hard drum and bass tune and they went crazy. So yeah, we can go into other and look for like halftime, right? I got my house, right? I went into halftime. I found something I really liked. Same BPM as drum and bass, of course. So that worked really well. So yeah, my drummy stuff, right? Intricate drums, things that are just really intricate. What else do I have? Jump up. Of course, we got the jump up. My jump up folder is not as big as like a lot of people's, but that's because I sort of play a lot of like jump up adjacent things, and so like I have a jump up adjacent everywhere. But yeah, I just kind of keep my jump up there. Of course, I have some jump up in vocals too, right? Liquid, historically I've played a lot of liquid, so for me there's like regular just liquid goes into there. Everything goes into here that's liquid. Then I have my big liquid tunes, right? I like the big liquid tunes for the right time in the set. I will definitely grab those. I think people go crazy for those sometimes. Kind of big room, big stuff. And then the ethereal stuff, like that's a huge thing. There's a lot of logistics and like Etherwood in here as a good example, right? Yeah, so lots of liquid. I love that. And it's the same concept, right? I could come up here and be like, well, what are the brand new liquid tracks I just got? Like, oh, okay, here's a logistics album, right? Like, boom, look how many of those I'm playing. Everyone. Just incredible. There's a lot of cool names in here. Yeah, so that's that. I got my vocals. Vocals, again, like you can pull up vocals, so that's a lot of fun. Then I have other crates. This is where it gets just like much more complicated, right? So sometimes you're listening to a track and you just kind of say to yourself, oh my God, like it's a party, right? Sigma, Nobody to Love. It's like, it's a party. Like it's when you're playing these tunes, it's a party. People are going crazy. Like it's fun. These are big, bright, beautiful, fun, funky kind of stuff like that, right? Horns. A lot of people aren't going to get this intricate and add every horn tune to this. Vasquez by London Electricity is a classic. I love that tune. New school classic, but it's a classic to me, 2023, right? But for me, like, I love to, well, hey, I've been playing a lot of rollers. Let's pull up a horn tune. Or like, I'm playing a summer set. Like, I've got a couple of cool summer sets coming up. Well, I want to do those horn tunes in the summer, right? Or even work on a horn mix. Of course, for summer tunes, I got my summer vibes too. This is the most recent one I've created, and that's because it was like just a couple days ago. You can see, and that's because I got a couple cool summer tunes coming up, right? Bootlegs. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Odd time. Like some of these are brand new, so there's not a lot of them, right? Absolute best, things that always go off. Absolute best are my personal favorite tunes. I love to make sure that this folder is on my USB because I love for like maybe 2/3 of the way through, I scroll to like the absolute best, or I'll scroll to classics, right? Let's play some classics. People always love classics. I think the joke nowadays is like the old heads love classics and the new heads love classics. They just don't know they're classics, right? This one's a Shella. Classics to me doesn't indicate date for the record. Classic is a classic is a classic. You're going to see a lot of 821, and that's probably the last time I like messed up and had to redo, by the way. So obviously a lot of these tunes are from years and years ago, and I added them years ago, but that's okay. We added them again. Yeah, the dark stuff, the deep stuff. I have deep rollers. There's a lot of deep rollers, but the dark stuff is another example. Excuse me, just the deep folder. These things don't necessarily roll, but they're just so deep. I love that. Things that are good with double drops. Yeah, so like, you can kind of see here jazzy stuff, minimal funky, neuro. I'm not going to open that. I do not have a lot of neuro tunes. No disrespect, it's just not my bag. Openers and closers, like this is fun, right? Anytime you're listening to a track and you say to yourself, man, that would be a great opener. It's like, throw it in. That's what I say to myself. I say, man, that would be a great opener. Let's make that gender neutral. So anytime, you find a tune, throw it into openers, and then it's like, cool. Some of these, like Rave Report is a big one, but a lot of these are kind of, Voyager is an incredible opener. I was chatting with Flava D at a show I played with her recently. No, I apologize. I didn't play that one with her, but I was chatting with her in New York City, and I told her, I've been opening with Voyager, and she goes, you know what? I haven't even opened with that. And I was like, you have to, because it's basically a huge intro tune. Huge intro tune that it doesn't drop until like 151. That's amazing. 151. So anyway, openers is a really easy place to start. Peak, right? Things that are just peak tunes. Like you're at the peak of your set. Like that's something, I don't know that a lot of people build peaks, but I love to build peaks and it works. And like I encourage people to like build their sets to 1 or 2 or 3 peaks and give people a chance to scream and then break it down and build it again. People go crazy. So these are the kind of tunes I like to play at that moment or just coming off that moment. People just go crazy for them. The pop remixes, like I don't do a lot of these. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little over the remixes and the bootlegs. And not everything has to be bootlegged and remixed. I think I won't go on about that, but that's how I feel. But I do have these for the right moment. They're certainly fun. I'm certainly known to play a few. Raga, rave is fun. Rave is like, just rave stuff, right? Like, I don't know, crunchy weird shit, right? Which I also have a weird folder, which is probably my favorite folder. And by weird, I mean that in the most respectful way. Like, just interesting, different, unique tunes. I love that shit. Need for Mirrors is one of my favorite producers of all times. His tunes are weird in the best way. I have so much respect for that. So, yeah. So, I guess the last thing, maybe like 1 or 2 more things I will show y'all is kind of when I'm looking at a set. So, I'm a planner. A lot of people know this about me. I play a lot of tunes. I play a lot of tunes with melody, so I have to somewhat know where I'm going. I play a good amount of vocals, so I want to make sure they're not on top of each other. I like to say, like, I go in with a plan almost every time pretty specifically, and then I almost never stick to the plan. So this weekend for Alex Perez was a really good example. I got to open in Philly, as I mentioned, which was unbelievable. Just wonderful vibes and really appreciate that opportunity. And I got to close in New York City the next night, which was great. So 2 nights with Alex. So what I did was I kind of do these, like, I kind of build sets. Like, it is what it is. I'm building a set. Yeah, this is how I do things. I go in with a plan because I am a planner. That is my nature, and it makes me happy and confident. And then I rarely stick to my plan. So here's an example. Let's look at the closing set, right? I have all these. If you look at the date added, right? Look at this. This is how amazing is drum and bass right now. Most of these tracks were released within the last, week, right, from now, or month or 2. And this is not simply because I love to play new music. Like, it doesn't matter. This is about playing good music. Let's edit that. So I love good music, and there's been an incredible amount of good music, right? So that moved. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it was. So here's what I do, right? I have my set here, and then at some point It was a bass night. It was an Alex Perez night. SPMC played 140. McKaylee played a set. So three incredible artists played a lot of 140, and then Alex played about half of his set of drum and bass. Well, I came in hard and heavy with drum and bass as I told the people I would, which felt good. I'm happy to do that. But then a couple of minutes into the set, I was like, no, excuse me, 35 minutes into the set, I said to myself, nope, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to give them some dubstep. Let's switch it up. I'm not sure I could feel a lull in the crowd, but I think a good DJ can feel it before it happens, right? Like I was like, let's switch it up. It's already almost 3:40. So I scrolled to the set from the previous night, actually, where it was a 2-hour set. So I had about 94, 95 tracks. I think I played about 88 or something. I don't recall exactly. But yeah, there's like a section where I go into some really cool 140. So I scrolled to it and I jumped right into Coherent Slingshot because it's got this beautiful part where it breaks down. It starts at D and B and it breaks down to 140. So I did that and then I played a couple of these. I don't know if it was in order. And then I think I got to Energy and I didn't want to do what I did last night. It wasn't appropriate. So I just kind of shifted from there. But yeah, so going in for a plan for me personally really helps. And then I remember going back and forth between these two sets because the set the night before was a little more bright, melodic, funky, just a little bit. It was still a dark, deep set and like appropriate for Alex Perez, right? But like, for example, I remember I needed to play this track. It's incredible. It's the Amen VIP. And I was like, let's go. So I scrolled to this. So yeah, so like when I have big shows coming up, so I'm opening for Netsky in a couple of months, or excuse me, a couple of weeks, and I've played with him about 3 or 4 times in the past, 3 times in New York City. I think this is my 3rd time in New York City, and so what I do is like I'll make a folder, and then I'll make a folder of the tunes. These are the things I might want to play. I'm not going to show you it all. I don't want to spoil it. It's going to be a lot of new stuff, right? And some classics and specifically going to be big, fun, funky music. But what I'll do is anytime I think of a funky tune or I hear one or I'm importing one, I will add it, boom, right away into tunes I want to play for Netsky. And as I'm building that set, I will focus on the tunes there. And then, of course, I will always go, well, let's go here because we want to make sure we play the really good shit. So I guess the last thing, and look, I've been talking for 22 minutes. If anybody is still listening, I appreciate you so much. I hope you've gotten something from this. If you haven't, that's you probably wouldn't be here, but I appreciate you just for listening very much. I really, really do. So the last thing I will say is just kind of like how to build a set. That might be a sort of different video, but the reason I organize is so that it can help you build a set, right? So I might start, again, I'll go down to my openers, right? I might go to openers, right? I'm not going to build a set right now, but I want to show you what I might do, right? So like I know this tune, for example, starts really small tune, small. And I like small. Let's say I'm here searching for a reason. This is a beautiful tune by DJ Limited, right? Like, so it's a sort of like a deep liquidy tune. Beautiful, long, ethereal intro, right? So from here, then I would say to myself, well, where do I want to go with this? How about like a liquid roller? Like maybe, but I don't know if I'm quite there yet. It depends on the set, right? I know a lot of people just play what they play and like respect to you, do you. One of the things that I love is being able to be a DJ that can open for HeadX or LTJ Bookham or someone, like different vibes, right? I know what I do. Most people know me for kind of like, funky, melodic, rolling, crispy, like dance floor party stuff, right? Like I'm a dance floor DJ, but I play a lot of melody and have a lot of fun up there. But, if I'm opening for HeadX, I'm going to play a completely different set than I am for LTJ Bookham, right? So think about what set it is, maybe let's say I'm opening the night. Let's just start blank so I can do absolutely whatever I want, almost whoever's opening, whoever's headlining, right? So I might start here and I might say, well, I don't want to do liquid yet, So maybe we go into the deep stuff, right? We'll do deep rollers. Some of these are heavy. Some of them are, but a lot of them are like really deep tunes. tunes that just groove and that have nothing but this low sub bass and a little bit of drums, and they're gorgeous. And I'll build and build and build, and maybe I'll jump between a dark roller, right? Because the deep and the dark, they're similar, right? So I might jump from deep to dark. Maybe I get back to dark for a minute, right? Then I find something that actually sounds a little steppy, and I get into the steppy tunes. Right? And then we're into the steppy tunes, and now we're picking up the pace a little bit. And all of a sudden, well, now I want to move into the hard rollers, right? Or heavy rollers, right? These are the heavy rollers that I love. From there, well, you know what? I've been going for a long time. Like, I want to break it down. Like, let's give them a breakdown so that we can build it back up again, right? So I might go minimal funky, which is like small, like, oh, whoa, where are we? How do we get here? Or small, slow, dope. These are tunes that are like really small, but like gorgeous and are great to build from, right? Again, like take a set up and down. And then, okay, well, we're on really slow, small stuff. So maybe I want to come in and do like a couple minutes of halftime, right? We're still in key, right? Or maybe I'm going, well, what are the new halftime, right? What sounds really, really good? This, I don't know how to pronounce this, forgive me, but Samath, perhaps, incredible EP, unbelievable BP. I want to say overview, but forgive me if it wasn't, but just unbelievable music, right? So maybe I'll come here and do some halftime, right? Now I'm in the halftime. I was telling about what I did the other day. I was in halftime, and then I wanted to like immediately pick it up, right? So what I did was I went from halftime to forward. Oh my gosh, forward are these tunes that are like it just that nonstop like forward energy, right? So from the forward, then we're already like rolling, we're fast, we're moving fast. So from there, maybe jump up, right? But so I won't go on because we're just talking, but you hear what I'm saying is you can use these folders to build your sets. If I'm doing a liquid mix, I might just live in the liquid rollers and just go from here to here to here, and like, they work beautifully. You've already sorted your tunes. You're already in key. You already know what they all sound like. So, yeah, if you've listened this far, like, wow, I appreciate you so much. I encourage you to find your own way here. And if you have any suggestions, let me know. And yeah, also, like, I'm obviously showing you lots of tracks here, and so no gatekeeping. I also encourage you to, share your track lists and tag the artists, and, tell your friends. I had a friend say, oh my God, you played the best tracks to open. And so I screenshotted the playlist and I said, here you go. And then the next day I see her story on Instagram, and she's got one of those tracks playing, like, help the artists and the labels out. And I will say we are fortunate with so much incredible music every single week now. And it's like $1, $2, for someone who grew up, buying records for, well, at some point it was 12 and then 15 and then 18 and then 24, because, you pay for all the shipping and all that from the UK. Like to get the amount of amazing quality we get every week is just incredibly fortunate. I'm grateful for all the producers. So yeah, that's why I always share the tunes. No secrets here. And if they're dub plates, they're dub plates, right? It is what it is. So I appreciate everybody so much for watching. Again, Dave Schickman here with New York City Driven AM. I hope this helped, and peace.